the Las Vegas Raiders going out and taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas on Turkey Day. Cowboys, Jerry Jones said, "Hey, Mr. Commissioner, can I touch you so that way we can always play on Thanksgiving when everybody's at home and watching football?" Yeah, sure. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to talk about Derek Carr first. Derek Carr, Sid from Toy Story in football pads, playing quarterback. Are you starting Derek Carr? Derek Carr is kind of like sneaky, actually.
Yeah.
I think that you can start him in a decent amount of games. How do you feel against going up against this Cowboys defense who just only held the Chiefs to 19 points this past week?
Yeah, so I don't like Derek Carr this week, and I don't know if this has.
I like
to
him
do,
as a mid-tier quarterback, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know if this has to do with the Henry Ruggs situation of him, the DUI, him being released from the team, but through the first 7 weeks, he had 5 games of 20 or more points since the Week 8 bye, since the Henry Ruggs situation. 0 games over 20 points in the 3 games that they've had. Like you just said, the Dallas Cowboys just kind of, I don't want to say blanketed the Kansas City Chiefs, but they held the Chiefs to just 19 points in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, I think, had, 7, 8 points. Who's the better quarterback here? Who's got a better offense here? It's the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes and those guys. And if the Dallas Cowboys are able to limit them, I think, I said it on the waiver wire episode, I think this is a get-right game for the Dallas Cowboys and this Dallas Cowboys defense. So, yeah, I do not like Sid from Toy Story at all.
I don't know. I feel like the Cowboys losing to the Chiefs is it's not really – they don't have to get it It's not so much like a get right because it's not they didn't get it wrong losing to the Chiefs. I feel like if in the summertime they look at their schedule and they go, they got the Chiefs. Yeah, they're expecting to lose that game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're hoping to get a win. But anyways, yeah, they were able to. I feel like Pat Mahomes is just not doing so great. But the Cowboys defense actually looked pretty good. So yeah. I'm with you on that on Derek Carr. So let's move on to the running back position. We got Josh Jacobs. What's going on with these guys? Because I feel like I just can't. What I mean.
Yeah,
I stay away from these guys.
Yeah, I feel bad because Drake was a guy who I thought you could start last week. Didn't pan out too good, but my thought process with that one was, I guess we'll get to Drake when we get to him next. But yeah, I feel bad because of that one. I don't know, Josh Jacobs. The upside's just not through the roof. I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I wasn't too hyped on Josh Jacobs because Drake was going to be there. I mean, you do lose a guy like Ruggs who takes the top off the defense. I know they get Deshaun Jackson, but he's at the tail end of his career. You lose John Gruden, the head coach, halfway through the season or after 5 games or whatever it was. I just don't like it. I mean, I think there was some crazy stat I saw where in games they win, he does good. Josh Jacobs, he'll put up crazy good games in games they win, but in games they lose, he gets you under 10 fantasy points. If I'm banking on the Cowboys to win this game, then I'm just going to go with the numbers say here, and that Josh Jacobs would not have a good game. It's kind of hard to sit a guy like Josh Jacobs depending on who you have, but I mean, I wouldn't be rushing personally to get Josh Jacobs into my lineup. Could he fall into the end zone? 100%. He's had games where he's gotten you 50 yards and a touchdown, 50 yards and a touchdown, 30 yards and a touchdown. So it's those touchdowns are his saving grace. But, if you take those touchdowns away, he's just not getting it done on the ground. I mean, only 2 games over 50 yards rushing all season long. It's just gross. It's just gross. So
I think you can flex Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
But I think that's about it. And I think the only reason yeah, I mean, I'm with you though. It's looking rough. Especially the Dallas Cowboys are on. Yeah, they're pretty much top. They're in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, top 7, top 8 of teams against the running back position on fantasy points per game. On a lot of these stats, they're pretty high up there. Yards, all that's good stuff. They're in the top tier. So Josh Jacobs, they're splitting these carries, even though Josh Jacobs is getting over the 50% mark, which is like kind of where I look to having these guys start. Josh Jacobs is the one I would rather start, but I'm not excited about it either.
I mean, yeah, the last 2 games, 9 carries, 7 carries. He does get
PPR.
He does get you 5 catches the last 3 weeks, 4, 5, and 5. So he's getting you that. But in terms of like the ground game, it's just gross. And in a game where they could potentially be behind, from what I'm predicting, you're not really going to be able to lean on the ground game as much as they probably would like to. So yeah, I'm not too psyched personally. Yeah.
And that being said, we're going to talk about Kenyan Drake, the same kind of guy. 32% snap count. Are you gonna? I mean, I'm with you here too. I'm gonna kind of fade Drake in this one against the Cowboys.
Yeah, and like I said, the reason why I did like Drake last week, they're playing against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals had allowed the most receptions to the running back position, and I think they were like bottom 3 in terms of like the most receiving yards allowed to their running back position. Obviously Josh Jacobs gets you 5 catches there. Drake only gets you 1 for 6 yards. Yeah, it's just, they're splitting carries here. It's like a 60-40 split, 65-35 split. Josh Jacobs to Kenyan Drake.
You're right.
I mean, I don't like it. It's you're playing like Russian roulette here. Me, I'm more of a, I don't want to say conservative, but I like to have like that safe floor, and that the floor is 3, 4, 5 points for a guy like Kenyan Drake. So yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, I'm all right, too. Let's move on to the wide receiver position. We got first off the Bryan Edwards, kind of sneaky guy. I feel like the Bryan Edwards is kind of almost the DFS guy. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely could be a sneaky DFS guy here, but I don't know. It just
for a traditional fantasy, I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just he's. To me, Bryan Edwards is one of these guys, and I know it's just his second year, but he's one of these guys where he could be a good football player, but being a good football player and being a good fantasy player are just 2 totally different things. I know it doesn't make sense. Like, hey, this guy's a good football player, so he should hypothetically be a good fantasy player. But, I mean, it just doesn't work out like that sometimes. So, I'm just, yeah, it's going to be a no for me, dog.
Can I say this? Last week?
Yeah.
Week 11, right?
Yeah.
What do you think his snap count was?
I have it right here, so do you want me to tell you?
No, okay.
83%.
Yeah. What is his receptions, yards, and targets?
0, 0, and 0.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
If you're not getting any targets on 83, in
a game they were losing. Like, they were losing that whole game against the Bengals, I feel like. So they needed to throw the ball.
It's not like he's not lined up.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah.
And they're not targeting him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm okay on Bryan Edwards. So then we'll talk about our favorite guy, Hunter Renfrow.
Oh, yeah, you know me. I love me some Hunter Renfrow here. Had a down game this last week, but, I think that was just across the board. But
it's just I think it's the Raiders in general had a hard game.
Yeah, for sure. But, you're going to have guys like Trayvon Diggs on the outside. He doesn't move to the slot. I think if the Raiders are going to be able to move the football through the air, obviously you're going to move it through Darren Waller, and it'll be Hunter Renfrow, who, prior to last week, 7 catches in 3 straight games. He's basically had 5 or more catches in every single game except for 2. So he's getting you a safe floor in PPR games. 10 or more PPR points in every single game except for 2. I think he bounces back in this week on Turkey Day. Yeah, dial me up some Hunter Renfrow here. He's like the perfect flex guy, in my opinion. Just a super safe floor. You know what you're going to get when you go out and you start Hunter Renfrow. I keep calling him like a modern-day Julian Edelman, a modern-day Wes Welker. Maybe he doesn't have that high touchdown upside because Derek Carr's not Tom Brady. But in terms of, like, being targeted and just like that safe floor of a PPR guy, yeah, I love me some Hunter Renfrow.
I like it, too. Stat him. Let's move on to Darren Waller. I think that you're going to start Darren Waller.
For sure, yeah. Do you eat turkey on Thanksgiving?
I do eat turkey on Thanksgiving.
Then you're starting Darren Waller.
Oh, hell yeah. Do you like the dark or white meat for turkey meat?
I love all turkey.
Of all shapes and all sizes?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love turkey. It's one of my favorite things.
Is it?
Yeah.
You
What's
like
one of
turkey?
your favorite things for Thanksgiving?
What's your favorite thing to eat on Thanksgiving?
Turkey and mashed potatoes. Love me some mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah. And getting drunk.
Let me ask you a question. Do you like stuffing?
I'm not a big stuffing guy.
What?
What, dude?
That's literally the best part of Thanksgiving is stuffing.
Nice.
That's crazy. Okay, but yeah, start Darren Waller. Let's move on to the Las Vegas Raiders defense. I mean, Dak Prescott, it's like every other game, he does really, really, really bad. He did not too great this past weekend, so I'm going to assume he's going to do better this week. What do you think? I think Dak Prescott, I always feel like these defenses, especially for fantasy, is just like quarterback versus defense. And in my eyes, I feel like it's going to be the Raiders might eat up this, or I mean the Dak Prescott might eat up the Raiders defense. Jesus, I can't even say that. You know what I'm trying to say. Dak Prescott's going to tear it up. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not starting the Raiders at all.
Yeah, we're good on the Raiders defense.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.